Backlog.
Oh,
Yo guys, what is going on? Uh, GP Race fan, man, nice to see you, dude. Um, Welcome to the Backlog Podcast number 26, I believe. This is
man, time
Backlog.
flies.
It definitely does. Yo, I am
Yo,
the Backlog, aka Matt, uh,
I'm Quintessence.
aka Quintessence.
Yeah, aka Quintessence.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, I guess I could say my name is Robert, but you know.
So definitely. What's happening, buddy? Glad I could make it. Yeah, dude, did you just get out of work? Apparently, I forgot to remove my chat text here.
Oh, yeah, that's completely off.
Oh yeah, I just scooted over a little bit.
Scooch.
Yo, Quintessence, how was your week, man?
I was sick as a dog for a majority of my week. I mean, I missed the last podcast because I was sick, and I
Yeah,
had like COVID Junior or some shit, but it just wouldn't come up on any tests, and it was extremely frustrating. But
COVID
now I
Junior.
am on, you know, the road to recovery. I can actually speak,
Yeah,
and so here I am. That's pretty much it.
that's awesome, man. I'm
It
well.
is.
I'm
It
glad to
is.
see you doing better. I know you said that you were.
For
You,
what?
s-
Hmm? Oh,
I know you said you were watching that new Kamen Rider show.
oh yeah. I just finished watching it actually before the podcast.
Yeah.
The new anime, Futo PI.
It's weird that they didn't call it like Kamen Rider W, like the animation or something like that.
Well, I think like the full name is probably like Kamen Rider W, the animation, like Futo PI or something.
Gotcha.
Would be my guess. I don't know the actual full title, but you know, titles are always shortened.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, at some point, nobody wants to have a mouthful of titles like some other animes do.
Boy, you say that, but there's some longies. There's some freaking long ones.
I left it
for a while there. We're having like 10+ word titles for these animes.
right. It's almost like an Arc Systems game, Arc Systems fighting game, or Kingdom Hearts spinoff.
Hey, listen, Kingdom Hearts spinoffs aren't that long, all right?
365 over 2.
That's not that long. Hello? Come on.
Birth by Sleep.
Shit game, though.
Is it?
365 over 2? Yeah, no, fucking trash.
Is that a rhythm game?
No.
No.
Nope. It's just a really trashy Kingdom Hearts game.
Was it on the DS?
Yes. Yes, it was.
Well, let's see.
So how was your week, sir?
Oh, right. Yeah. My week was good, dude. I played some Budokai 3 on stream on Friday. I feel really bad because I actually like missed 2 streams this week. Mostly due to me sleeping. Because this damn third shift I work kicks my ass frequently. So if I don't like stick to, you know, whatever sleep schedule I'm on, or if something throws me off or I just can't sleep, then it'll catch up with me on another day where, you know, I can't fucking, like, I can't wake up, or I'll sleep until I have to go to work, you know?
That's brutal, dude. You're in a vicious cycle there.
Yeah, that's the problem is like with third shift, it's like, you know, it's like some days I'll get home and I'll be up till like 12 or 1, and usually I try to go to bed by 9 a.m. So at that point I know that I'm screwed, you know, and then like it's usually like the next day.
What if I just fit video games in here?
No,
just take a chunk of sleep out. Video games.
Legit, the only time I have to play games now is when I stream.
Damn.
So it's like it's my time. I set aside, that time on those days, and then I just sleep, past it. But actually, Saturday was pretty good though. Played a lot of Budokai. Had like I want to say 2 or 3 raids, and then
Hey, nice.
yeah, yeah, and things were popping. Surprisingly, the Budokai community is like really friendly, and it was like, a lot of people are like, oh, you want to stream in retro, or you want to stream in like the Budo, or you could stream in the Budokai category. I went into the Budokai category, and that's like when I got I met all the Budokai people, and
All 4 of these other streamers were like, welcome.
yeah, and like, well, I mean, they had a lot of people watching their streams too, and
Yeah.
one of the guys was like
That's still super popular.
yeah, surprisingly.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't know about Infinite World, which
It's true.
a lot of people don't know about that game. I didn't even know about that game. Uh so but yeah, no, it was really cool. And let's see. Hold on, what was that? My wife said you were the one she asked for Fab to get my application 3 months ago. What? I don't think so, dude. I don't think that was me. I think I would remember something like that. They're a GP race fan. I mean, but I don't know. For all I know, I could have forgotten.
Someone
but
came in my room.
no, it's all good. So let's see. So you know what? Yeah, no, like legit, they're race fan. I do not. It's like that's totally blanked on me. Okay, and the other thing too was I was looking at an apartment right this week, and and they wanted like 900 a month for it. So
Yeah.
so I went to go see it, and it wound up being like a basement with like, I want to say, a small, like, the room I would have a roommate, right? And the room I would
Yeah.
be in is even shorter than this. And I couldn't fit
Oh, no.
I couldn't fit my stream stuff in there because it came like pre-furnished. And it like immediately once I walk through the door, the first thing I smell is mildew. Like really
gross.
bad, like, basement mildew type stuff.
Yeah.
And I started talking to the lady, and I was like, hey, how much would the other guy be paying in rent? Because he's just, supposedly he's only there like 3 or 4 times a month, and he has like a job traveling. And I was like, well, how much would he be paying? Because I don't want to pay for another guy's rent to like, store his stuff, essentially. And she's like, oh, he's paying the same amount as you. And so I was like, okay, so what you're telling me is this mildew apartment basement is underneath someone else's house is 1,800 a month. And I didn't say that to the lady, right? But I was like,
no, of course not.
fuck.
I mean, you could have.
I was like, fuck this place. I am not renting from this person. They're lying to me, and I just met them.
Sounds like a slumlord, man.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, the apartment is like underneath her daughter's family's house. So, it would just be like kids and stuff like above, and I can already tell, like, it's gonna be like every Saturday, like kids stomping around, running around and shit.
Oh yeah, for sure. Good luck sleeping.
Yeah, and like the fact that it's like pre-furnished, and they're like, well, you could. A lot of people just put a mattress over the futon, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing it.
Just put a mattress over the futon.
Yeah, and then I was like, oh, I don't know, I'll let you know. I don't know if I can, because I already have a bunch of stuff, and I don't have enough room for it here. Like there would be no way I could even stream in that room, and I already have limited space as it is. By the way, race fan, it's cool, man. No big deal. Let's see. And then Okay, you know what else I saw this week, and I think this is like another like my last little highlight here is
Okay, highlight reel.
I was at work last night, and I went into the bathroom, went to the bathroom. I got out, and the first
Okay.
thing I see is a dude peeing in a stall. Okay. Basically, he has his penis in one hand and then his phone in the other. And he's
Okay.
and he's literally in a stall watching a video while he's pissing. It's like, like how freaking attached we are to having, phones and stuff like that.
One second, I have to check my phone.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. But it was like I've never seen somebody do that in like a public place, and it just seems so strange. Like at least, when you go to the
Could have been
bathroom.
worse.
Oh, well,
Yeah, I mean,
what could have
it could have
happened?
just been porn.
I mean, like I just don't know what you're so attached to that you have to like watch uh why you have to watch something while you're pissing. Like I can't believe it. But anyway, I just thought it was like
Some people are just built different, dude.
we're
Like,
slowly becoming AI, dude.
yeah, I don't even touch my phone while I'm in the bathroom. I'm like, that's weird. I don't want to like get bathroom germs on my phone.
But he
I'm
had
not about that
he
life.
had again he had his phone like up here, like while he was, and it was almost like a pose. But that reminds me of when I would stream iRacing. My little cousin would come in, like, I want to play, and here I am, 250 lap league race broadcasting to 500 plus people, right? Yeah, man. Um,
Got them.
uh, so yeah, if did you have anything else you want to throw into your weeks, or because I know
No,
you're
it's just been misery and sickness.
well,
Been
I
down with the sickness.
okay, so how about this then?
How about?
Here, I have a question for you, and,
Okay.
and this is going to be the question of the week, right?
Oh, yes.
Which, and I was thinking about this, which movie villain was actually the good guy of the story? Because I think I have one that I was thinking of, like that I've known for a long time. I was like, this guy was always right the whole way through. And he was right. He was proven to be right, but because he was like a frumpy dude that, he's like, I don't, it's like nobody likes his attitude, so he's the bad guy, essentially. But anyway, yeah, I don't know if you had an answer for
Bad
that.
guy because he's mildly upset. Oh, you hate to see it.
I don't like his
I
attitude.
actually do have an answer for this.
All right.
And my answer is Star Wars Episode 1 Darth Maul.
Okay, so you're gonna have to explain that to me because I don't quite understand how.
So my reasoning is if Darth Maul had succeeded in just killing Anakin, which was like his goal,
Mhm.
then the Jedi Order would not have been wiped out. Darth Vader never would have been a thing, and the Republic would still be together.
Wait, are you saying that Darth Maul's whole, and I feel dumb for saying this, Darth Maul's whole goal was to kill Anakin?
Part of it, yeah.
What? Remind me why that is.
He was an extremely gifted Force user,
Well, I know that,
and
but
they could sense that.
what was it that implied that, because he didn't speak, he didn't say a single word throughout the entire movie.
There was like multiple pieces of dialogue, like, "Oh, he's after the boy" and shit like that.
Oh, okay.
So, like, if Darth Maul had killed Anakin, we would have avoided the slaughter of all of the Jedi.
Well, what if? How about this? What if instead he kills Obi-Wan? Well, and Qui-Gon.
I mean,
he would have to kill both of them.
he would have to kill both of them
because they would just be
Anakin.
Yeah, he would just I
mean, some other Jedi could have literally just picked up Anakin also.
Well, the whole idea was like, this whole problem would have been avoided if, essentially Anakin wasn't trained in the Force whatsoever.
Yeah. Well, the thing is like Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon had already contacted Yoda about Anakin. So regardless, some Jedi at some point probably would have taken him under their tutelage.
So, and
especially if he was such a potent like threat or like power, right? That people wanted Anakin either dead or to use.
Right.
So I feel like if Darth Maul got his way, then it would have saved the entire Jedi Council.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. I mean, wasn't the idea though that essentially like it was a bit of like a Twilight situation with the whole imprinting thing, where it's like they weren't really sensing Anakin, they were sensing like what Luke and Leia would do in the future is really who was supposed to bring balance to the Force. I mean
that's a possibility, right?
Mm-hmm.
They did kind of like slightly like hint at that kind of stuff.
I think it was like it purposefully left to be vague.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But I stand by that in like retrospect, Darth Maul was right. And Anakin should have freaking died.
I mean, yeah, but at the same time, like, wouldn't the Empire still have like the same stronghold on? Like, it wouldn't get rid of the Empire. Like the Palpatine,
no, it wouldn't get
Palpatine
it wouldn't.
Still would have existed.
He would have, yes, but the Jedi Order would also still exist.
Yeah,
because like Darth Vader literally went through and hunted down the Jedi to extinction.
Well, you're talking about Order 66, right?
Yeah.
Well, but I mean, there was like a lot of like stormtroopers just wrecking kids, like when they were like walking through the Republic.
Well, I mean, I think Anakin has the highest child body count.
I forgot.
He essentially went into Jedi preschool and was like,
"Oh, that's such a corny
later,
part.
Dudes."
Oh my god, that's such a corny freaking part of that whole movie. Especially like where they're like, "We need to give this child lines in this movie." It's gonna give it depth. It's like, Master Anakin, we're completely surrounded. It's like, what the fuck? It almost plays out like a comedy in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I feel like the prequel trilogy makes the sequel trilogy like the sequel trilogy makes the prequel trilogy look so much better. Like I
hate to say it, but I do agree. Even like including like Jar Jar shit, which was like probably the lowest point of the prequels, right? I still think they rise above what we got in continuations, and it hurts so badly.
I'm not gonna lie, I would be really curious to see what they would have done with Jar Jar if people didn't hate him as much as they did. Like, because they took him out of episode 2 and like pushed him off to the side, in the Republic, and he essentially made him a bad guy. Because actually, wait, how about this? What if they just killed Jar Jar, and then he wouldn't have like given the what was it, the Republic the power to like take away democracy, essentially. As the quote is this the death of democracy you know, with a thunderous applause or something like that. Like he was the representative for
The Gungans.
no, he was
Or you
Amidala.
mean
Who's Natalie Portman's character?
Amidala.
Amidala. Yeah. Padme. He was Padme's like representative.
Padme.
As like I think she went into hiding or something like that. So like I think that's what it was. And like he was a fucking idiot. And they were like, well,
he wasn't really a villain though, right?
He was though, because without him, that probably Order 666 wouldn't have gone through if he hadn't given all the power to the Republic. And then of course, they decided to wipe out the Jedi. They had absolute power. But then again, I'm sure someone could poke a hole through this this very rough
for sure.
Guesstimate
people
of
more
Star
knowledgeable
Wars
than us.
Yeah, I mean, like,
and
a
lot of people.
And of course, if anybody in the chat like knows more about like Star Wars, I would love to hear how wrong I am. That would be amazing. But
yeah.
So here's.
But I'd start Darth Maul would be a fun choice.
Yes, that's a great choice. So here's my choice. Have you ever seen? Have you seen The Karate Kid?
Of course.
Okay.
Which one? The
first one.
Okay.
The very like in the early
the first. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the first one. So
there's also the Jaden Smith one with the same exact title.
No,
Karate Kid.
That movie's
that was pretty okay. Actually.
Yeah, it's fine, but it could be called anything else but The Karate Kid, and it would have been like, and I would have no problem with it.
Sure. Or they could have just called it like the freaking Karate Kid 5 or whatever.
They could have called it the Kung Fu Kid because that's what he did. He did Kung Fu. He didn't do karate.
Fair enough.
He was in China doing Kung Fu with Jackie Chan. So
I love Jackie Chan.
So what is it? There's like Daniel, and then there's who's the antagonist of? I can't remember his name. I feel so bad.
God damn it!
It's like, of course, once I start to bring it up, it's like blanking on me.
Daniel and oh my god,
Johnny Lawrence. Johnny Lawrence.
There we go, Johnny. Yeah.
Okay. So
and then also Johnny's coach.
Yeah. So Johnny is actually the victim of the situation.
For sure.
Yeah. So like, what is it? There was like, so Daniel was like hitting on Johnny's girlfriend, and he like came in, and like there was multiple situations where without like Daniel instigating a situation or starting a fight, that I think he like started the fight with Johnny, and then that's when Miyagi came in and beat them all up, and then they went to Cobra Kai to bother them and not the other way around. And at the end of the movie, Daniel uses an illegal kick. It's an illegal kick to win to win the the tournament. So essentially,
he also sucker punched Johnny at the beach.
Yeah, that too. There was like multiple times where he got punked by Daniel, and all because like he just had like
Johnny's not innocent.
That's right. Well, I mean, yeah,
he beat the shit out of Daniel on a couple occasions.
Yeah, I mean, with but either way, in my personal opinion, I don't think Johnny is the villain of. I think
no, definitely not.
I think Daniel's actually the villain. Wrecking Johnny's shit, and ruining his life essentially.
But it's interesting you say this. Mm-hmm. Like, have you seen
Cobra Kai?
The show Cobra Kai? Yeah.
Yeah.
It basically kind of like goes over what you're saying, and it gives like the viewpoints from both sides and makes a pretty good argument for like who was the real asshole and who really instigated things.
Yeah.
And it pretty much comes out to like a 50-50 between them.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Both
saw.
just feeding off of each other's negative energy.
I think I saw season 3, maybe season 2. It was definitely. I think it was season 3. It's hard to like. There's a lot of stuff that just kind of melds together with that show for some reason. I know there's like
It's a fun little show.
Yeah, it's like a very low budget show, but they do a great job with it.
Yeah, it's like a continuation to Karate Kid. It's fun.
Yeah, they also
they act like exactly how I thought they would act.
Yeah,
like in their adult years.
I thought it was cool that
fun.
they had like callbacks and stuff, like the amount of detail that they put into the show.
Oh yeah, for sure. They always get like the original actors back.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah, like they got the like
crazy.
the actors from the Karate Kid 2 to come back like in later episodes.
Yep.
Like I can't remember the dude's name, the Japanese dude, who was like the antagonist of number 2. Like he comes back and of course, you know, teaches Daniel or whatever it is.
Yeah. Well, frick. What was his name? I don't know. I don't remember. It's hard to remember names.
Ultimately, it doesn't matter. But I mean, either way, I think it was pretty dope that they did that. And I'm curious to see how it goes. And I know they even like incorporated some like Karate Kid 3 stuff. God, what if they like incorporate the next Karate Kid, Hilary Swank? Like she just shows up.
I think that's probably going to be in the next season of Cobra Kai. I actually fully expect to.
You think Hilary Swank's going to show up?
Like appear? Yeah, I really do. And I think that'll actually be pretty dope.
Maybe Michael. Wait, is Michael Ironside still alive? I gotta look this up.
I don't.
Do you know who Michael Ironside is?
Pretty sure I do. Let me double check here.
Michael Ironside. Is he still alive? He's like 72. Holy shit. He's still alive. Yeah. He's definitely, so he could come back too. He could be a villain because Michael Ironside was the main villain of the next Karate Kid. So I mean, he could come back. That movie's okay. I remember watching it on like ABC Family and being like, meh.
Yeah, it wasn't awful. It was just fine.
Yeah, it was definitely passable.
Yeah. I mean, I think at the end of the day, most of the Karate Kid films are just fine. Like the first one is actually a pretty good movie. And then, you know, you definitely see they kind of cashed in on the second and third one. But they're still fine.
The third one.
The next Karate Kid's probably the weakest.
Oh no, I honestly think the third one is fucking trash.
Really? You think so?
Yeah.
Man, I don't know.
I think like I mean you could probably IMDb it. But I feel like the third
kind of curious.
The third movie is super over the top and like, you know, overacted. Especially with the main villain. That kind of I don't remember his name, but he's actually in, I think he's in season 4, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's Terry Silver. I remember him. I remember Kreese. I remember Terry Silver.
Yeah, he was in 3.
But I couldn't remember Johnny's name for some goddamn reason.
Yeah, it's all right.
But you know, shit happens.
Yeah, man. So let's see. You want to jump into the Sea Beast review?
Sure. Let's go.
Yo, man.
I'll let you start.
Oh, well, I gotta start.
You said you got like this big old list.
All right, fine.
Yeah.
So I have my notes here, and I'm curious to see what you think. So first off, this to me looked like a lot like a Pixar or DreamWorks movie, and I don't know if it's the same team or not, or like there are people that were, you know. It looked like How to Train Your Dragon type, like art style.
So there were people that worked on Moana that actually worked on this film. So that was pretty interesting. There's also some people that worked on Big Hero 6 worked on this film. So it actually had like good like pedigree of like animators.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
so that's why you see a strong similarities, because literal like Pixar people worked on this.
so it's kind of come to the point where it's like Pixar people and like maybe even DreamWorks people have like kind of started splitting up and making their own teams now.
A little bit, yeah.
Or
People are really pursuing like passion projects right now, it seems like.
Didn't like
Netflix is like enabling it for now, but they also cut back a lot of stuff. So.
Didn't they also like recently say that they weren't gonna be they weren't gonna be greenlighting passion projects? Like I think that was on the podcast a while ago. I don't know how.
No. They definitely are, but I think Sea Beast has been in development for a while now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to say that if you're watching this movie for the first time, I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Thalassophobia is the term. And basically that means like the depths of the ocean. If you have a fear of the depths of the ocean, boy, this movie's like first opening act is gonna fuck with you. If you don't like sharks, man, it's definitely
super sharks.
Yeah, super sharks. It's definitely gonna mess with you, and you're gonna kind of get creeped out. But once you get over that part, I mean, it's not so bad after that. They really don't do too much of like deep dark depths after that. But they do a great job of like painting the picture of like the fear of these like sea creatures. We should probably preface that this is going to contain spoilers as well for the movie.
This will contain spoilers. There's no way to really
talk about it
this movie without spoilers, unfortunately, due to the core of the movie.
Yeah, it's like very much like kind of very tight in terms of like linear story.
Yeah.
So our main protagonist is Jacob, voiced by what sounds to be Billy the Butcher, I want to say. I'm pretty sure it's what's that dude? What's the actor's name that plays Billy Butcher? It's got to be.
No way. I got to look this up now. IMDb. Boost.
It's got to be him. I can't. Yeah, that's him, Carl Urban.
Yeah, it is. It is him. Holy crap.
Yeah. I kind of like I've watched 2 seasons of The Boys, and so I got so used to hearing him talk that I was like, oh yeah, it's Carl Urban. I mean,
think about it, he does sound similar. Yeah, he definitely took on a bit of a different voice for this character though.
Yeah, he went for, it sounded like he went for more like of a British accent than like he's a Kiwi. He's from New Zealand.
Yeah, so, for sure.
Like in The Boys,
everyone had a British accent because I guess it's a British movie. I don't know.
Maybe
it's kind of vague on that part.
Yeah, it really didn't make sense because like the royalty didn't have like a British accent, but it's fine. There's like the accent inconsistencies there. Yeah, it's cool. Jacob is what I would like to call superhuman, because he does some ridiculous ass shit in the first period of the movie. Like he is like doing things that should by all means kill a normal man, and like he's like running up like the sides of walls and like catching people, and like the majority of the action happens. A lot of the majority of the action happens in like the first few scenes of the movie. I mean,
like the first third of the movie is
like
action.
The first act is like really where all the action is.
Yeah.
There's like a little bit later on, but it really kind of like starts off hot and tries to get your attention.
Yeah, for sure.
But I mean, at the same time, I think that's part of one of its problems is that story-wise, the story takes a little bit of a back seat, and it takes a little bit more time to get started because of that. It's like really one of my kind of complaints about it. But yeah, Jacob is like superhuman in like the stuff he was doing, which is weird because, well, there's like maybe another part, but after that, he really doesn't do too much other superhuman stuff in the movie. But there's like a couple of moments where he's like doing some, you know, ridiculous stuff. This movie also, like, there's a lot of times where you kind of have to like I mean, obviously, you know, what is it, like, cut away from reality. Like, you can't it's not based too heavily in, you know,
Suspend your disbelief.
yeah, suspend your disbelief, essentially. I mean, it's obviously it's a kids movie, but there's all kinds of weird
sort of
inconsistencies. Yeah, that is yeah. Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of like very serious themes in this movie too, where um you know, I would even say that there's a lot of like racial overtones in terms of, I mean, at least that's what I picked up on. The movie, I mean, I don't know what you thought of this, but like a big theme of the movie is prejudice. Um, and
Yeah.
So essentially, it's like you could say like it basically covers a little bit of race theory in sort of like, you know, the racial overtones, the prejudice between like people judging each other for, you know, what they are, um, like, you know, uh traditions, like they're like so ingrained into who they are that they don't question them, and just like, you know, we do in the world, we're all brought up to believe certain things. And then, you know, there's also the aspect of the history being written by the oppressors, which is a bigger theme of the movie. Oh, looks like we have a special guest here temporarily, wondering if it's Quintessence brother. do 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 do. Let's see. Like, we're gonna have to have like a little bit of an intermission here. Yo, which honestly, you know what? The movie Doug, actually not the movie Doug, because I've never seen the Doug movie. But you ever notice how like Doug as a TV show kind of like has like a tonal whiplash once it went over to ABC from Nickelodeon? Uh, it really felt like a different TV show, and I'm not sure if it's because like Doug was in high school, but it just didn't have like the same charm as it did when I was a kid. And maybe that's because, you know, I, you know, had grown older and maybe I grew out of it. But you know, I remember like heavily really appreciating the show. What's up? Oh, oh, it looks like we're still in intermission here. All right. Yep. So but yeah, like I remember like really liking Quail Man and stuff like that. And oh, Quail Man, he had like a belt on his head and he had underwear over his shorts. Like what was going on with that, by the way? Like did was that some kind of a weird joke where it's like, you know, he was like basically wearing his pants in reverse? You know, you I'm assuming that he wears his shorts as his underwear, and then he wears his underwear as shorts, okay? And where his belt is supposed to be, that in fact is his hat, right? Bro, can you hear me? Are you loud? I feel like Quintessence is just letting me like keep talking while I try to explain the theory of Quail Man. Like, I mean, I'm just saying, like, you know, like I think Doug, you know, obviously it's a coming of age story about a boy and his blue-green friend. I'm kind of wondering, like, you know, with the skin condition, is that like jaundice? Like, you think like maybe he was like born with some kind of disease that made him green? You know? Quintessence, I can't hear you.
The whole town's different colors.
Of Doug?
Yes.
I mean, like a lot of characters are like have very, very different colors.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, so Sea Beast?
Yeah, Sea Beast. Whoa, thank God. Oh, dude, were you just like letting me hang myself? Like,
No, I was engaged in a conversation somehow.
oh, okay. Um, so yeah, so I don't know if did you pick up on any of that? Am I crazy here for like seeing the tones of like prejudice, maybe even like a little bit of race theory in like the theme of the movie? There's a
like
couple of other
humans versus the monsters kind of stuff.
Yes, yeah, that's kind of how.
Because outside of that, there's not really any like we have characters of all different like races and such, but they all like work together, and there's no real prejudices outside of between the monsters and the humans.
That's fair enough. I just kind of saw it as like, you know, it reminded me of that because, you know, it's like all of these people are so ingrained in what they were raised to believe, you know, blindly so, and their morality meter is like they do not question, you know, how they feel about certain, like about the monsters or about whatever, even, you know. But also there's a lot of gray area in terms of things where it's like your good characters will become bad characters, and your bad characters wind up not being so bad after all. You know, like the captain, right?
Yes, the captain was he had a bit of a tone shift.
Oh
A
yeah,
couple times.
yeah. He was like slowly reaching his villain arc.
He was. I think he actually did reach his villain arc.
Yeah,
To be honest.
yeah, totally.
Like he by the end he was full blown villain.
Yeah, I mean, it just goes to show you that like it's like you're only so many steps from becoming like the worst version of you. Like, and the idea was that, you know, he thought his son Jacob essentially was his son, was
foster son,
adopted son, was dead, and so then it became all he obsessed about. Was, you know, I need to kill that beast, and there was like, you know, the Moby Dick, like it had a very strong, like a lot of ways it ripped off like Moby Dick, in you know, that way, where it's like he'll do anything to get that whale.
Yeah, well, I mean, okay,
that kaiju whale.
Yeah, right. Like, it's still understandable where the captain's coming from, though.
Yes.
It's not just like this blind rage. He still listens to people pretty much until like kind of like the end, where it's just kind of like an echo chamber in his mind, right?
Yes.
Because Jacob's not there to like
to talk him out of things,
pull him back in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Jacob was his reasoning. And
his moral compass, really.
Well, it's funny because like there's like a shift in momentum, like when I don't, what is the girl's name, the little girl, the orphan girl?
Maisie,
right? Like where it's like Maisie. That moment where he knows that Maisie's right to cut that rope. And like the dude's like, I'm gonna hurt you if you cut that rope. And then even Jacob's like, you should cut the rope though, you know?
I'll shoot the girl myself. Stop cutting that rope.
Yeah. I mean, and essentially like so driven to kill this animal that he was threatening to kill the entire crew.
Yeah, I mean, their ship was going down. Like, if they hadn't cut that rope, they were all going to die there.
Right.
Probably. Very, very likely.
Yeah, they were probably gonna die.
Because like they were hooked up to the beast would like the beast could die there, right? But if the beast sank when they were hooked up to it, it would have just pulled them down with it. Especially with like that whirlpool that it made.
Which, okay, so speaking of that, like
some crazy shit.
Remember when, you know, the beast like pulled the captain down after he stabbed it at the beginning of the movie?
Yeah.
And then he just like all of a sudden he was in the boat. And I was like, and they didn't explain it. There's a lot of that going on in this movie where there's like lots of just jump cuts of things that are just, you know, in between moments that are just missing. Mm-hmm. And like they might be there.
Yeah, he like got his eyes like closing in like his final moments, basically just accepting like, yeah, no, I fucked this one up. All right.
Yeah.
He closes his eyes and then we shift like back onto the boat and like Jacob's like over him like, oh God, are you okay? So I have to assume that Jacob fished him out.
Right, but he was
especially with all of his superhuman feats previously.
That is true. We have to just assume that he used his like super strength to like swim super fast.
We saw him swim. He swam good. He swam real good. He like swam out of the mouth of the monster before the monster could close its mouth.
Yeah, and like hopped directly out of it.
Yeah.
That's
crazy.
Which raises another question, but we'll like we can get to that. But so there's this story is like getting sloppier the more I start to explain it, or maybe that's my fault. But
we're skipping over a bunch of plot points.
It's fine. So
whatever.
So like there were scenes where essentially the movie would just like jump where it's like, remember when they land on the beach and like they're on top of like two coconut like palm trees, and then the next scene they're all of a sudden they're on the sand. Like they didn't even show them jumping down. Or like when Jacob is inside the magic conch inside that house, and he just like grabs his spear, or he's like his spear's away, and then next thing it's like in his hand. Or, you know, what is it, like the sea beast dives down into the water and all of a sudden they're just like inside the sea beast. I just didn't like how they didn't fill in those little, like, how do they get back inside the sea beast? I don't know. Like there's the nose, right? But then like,
yeah, I mean, well, like it's strongly implied that like Maisie has like a connection, right? Like with it, like she's learned how to communicate with it somewhat. So it's not a huge stretch to be like, oh, I mean, she was just like, hey, we need back in. Like,
yeah.
We gotta go. We're gonna die if we're on top.
Also, when it swallowed them, it chose to not eat them. And yes. the water just disappeared. Like there was no water. The water didn't take them inside that boat down the stomach. Didn't make any sense. And then
that's fair.
Then once they crawled around inside its mouth and they got to the nose, there's just a screen door there.
Yeah, that was
really weird.
An interesting idea, actually.
At one point, it like even opened it like while they were underwater, I want to say. But
no, it opened it when they got to land.
Right.
So it was like some kind of like evolution of the sea beast to like open and close its nose. Maybe so like water doesn't like flood into it, because it seems like it actually has to like take breaths and stuff. It doesn't seem like a water breathing monster, right? Like it's more of like a dolphin in design than like a shark or something.
Either way, a lot of stuff just wound up happening.
Doesn't have gills.
Out of convenience, because they needed to keep pushing that story forward. They had so much to cover. That I think that's why you had like all of those jump cuts.
Well, I felt like it was things that didn't really need to be animated for the most part, right? Like, if they could just save some money by having them not animate, like him picking up the spear, or not have them animate, because obviously he can get down from the palm tree, because we actually saw him get down from the palm tree.
Yeah, but her though.
Like, oh, he could have helped her. They still had the rope.
No, she threw the rope down. I think.
Yeah, but he could have thrown the rope back up to her.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Is it's like it's little things like that where it's like, oh, they like teleport a lot.
Yeah.
But anyway,
it didn't really bother me overall. I just kind of saw it as like cost saving, little like, I don't know, almost pointless animations taken out just to save money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I don't think this had like a giga budget.
Right. Oh, I mean it's fine, but so all right, so where should we start from here? Should we go to the next part where, like, you know, obviously they find out that the beast is sentient. Does it eat people? Does it not eat people? That's kind of a like something that's not explained. Is it good? Because it definitely, like, does it only attack when it's provoked out of survival? I'm assuming that's it, but
it does seem like that, because like it seems to be able to, like, for example, like smell like gunpowder and stuff. Because we saw like when they were on the second island, and they were looking at the grand boat, and there were all the little rowboats on the shore. Like the beast was like, "Wait, smell, smell, smell." Oh, and there was like a bunch of people like loading like gunpowder onto the boats and stuff like that. So like I feel like it's kind of like I guess learned those smells and associated those with danger. Right?
Yeah, this creature has just evolved at like some kind of a rapid rate.
Well, I mean, look at the damn thing.
It's definitely, dude, this is definitely a kaiju of some kind. Like, kind of,
for sure.
Like
we literally had a kaiju battle.
That's true. They had a kaiju battle. It like definitely evolved super quick. Yeah. It could go on ground, it can go in the water.
Yeah, like I said, it was more of like a dolphin design, right? Like, but a dolphin that could like properly go on land.
Yes.
Because it doesn't have gills. It was always breathing. It never like breathed underwater.
Dolphins don't have gills?
No.
Dude, I don't know. Why
dolphins hold their breath?
They just hold their breath underwater?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh. Well, more you learn.
Yeah, I guess so.
You know?
I don't know anything about, like, I mean, I know some stuff, but I mean, I'm not like I don't usually study sea animals.
That's fair.
But yeah, it just, they obviously made the connection with the beast, and then, you know, they decided to go travel to the one area. You know, of course, they're having the competition between the Royal Army and the hunters, and like the Royal Army's a bunch of like pushovers. And you know, honestly, that whole plot with the Royal Army really doesn't go anywhere. That was like another thing. There's a couple of holes like where it like, okay, what does Maisie being an orphan ultimately do to the story? I mean, other than, you know,
well, I mean, it allows her to make a connection with other hunters because she comes from like a long line of hunters,
right? Which is why she was so interested in them.
Yeah. So like, because her parents were like on the Monarch, which was apparently like one of the most famous boats along with the inevitable.
Okay.
Yeah.
There was so let's see, like, yeah, the Royal Army thing didn't go anywhere. The whole witch thing didn't go anywhere either. There was like a point where the witch was essentially like, yo, it will, doing this thing will cost you everything. And it's like, but it didn't, it really didn't by the end of it. I think the idea was from the witch was that, like, essentially everything was your drive to kill this beast would leave him alone, and like sort of like a tragedy it could have been. I don't know. What do you?
Yeah, I can see that. I kind of saw it as at the end of the movie, the captain basically has lost everything.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like his crew betrayed him.
He alienated everybody.
Yeah, he alienated everyone. Like the witch's prophecy did come true, like in a sense.
Yeah, but like it all worked out for him though. Like he's okay.
Allegedly.
Unless...
I mean, we don't really know.
Yeah, I guess that's true. There is no real follow-up to that whole story.
Yeah, it's just kind of it's left more open-ended.
Yeah.
They're like, oh right, we are like a family picture at the end of the day, so
Yeah, I kind of have to like push things along. I don't know, man. What did you think? What I feel like I'm jumping around a lot with plot points.
You are jumping around a lot, but like the movie jumps around a lot, right? So my thoughts can be fairly easily summed up by How to Train Your Dragon did it better.
Oh yeah, totally.
At the core of this movie, this is How to Train Your Sea Beast, right? Like it follows very, very similar like plot points. Like along with like the tradition, the not understanding the other species, hunting it just because your ancestors hunted it. Like it hits a lot of the same beats.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I don't think it's a bad movie still. I still enjoyed the Sea Beast. But it's just a lesser How to Train Your Dragon to me. Like that's the best way I can sum up this movie.
Yeah.
It hits so many plot points that How to Train Your Dragon hits that it feels like a little bit of a cop out.
I do. Okay, so it also like reminds me of Moana a lot. Is it Moana? Is that the name of the movie? Yeah, like just being at the ocean and like whatever, sailing around.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't know. I feel like the movie was so breakneck that I was like just writing notes, and I didn't quite have time to elaborate. But I don't know. I don't necessarily want to break down the entire movie. I want to spend a good time on.
That's fair.
I want to spend a good amount of time on the movie, and obviously, I think at the end of the day, if you think that this, my pitch of the movie is confusing, you should probably go watch it. It's on Netflix, so. I think the movie has a lot, because it's going so fast. I think it has a lot of problems. I would have liked to see it slow down and like piece things together a little bit more smoothly instead of, I think they had too many characters in the, that they had to like, some of them you only like knew from like having like maybe 2 lines. And it's like, oh, you're this person. The book says you're this person, or whatever. At a convenience. I would have liked to see like more, maybe like more of that family aspect of the crew, like how everybody knows each other. And I mean, obviously they all work well together, but maybe they could have like elaborated on that more.
Well, they had like little segments where, you know, like they were having like a good old time together. Like, um, when Jacob gets called to like the captain's cabin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like all the other crewmates are like, "Oh, speaking of like dying tonight or whatever,"
Yeah.
and they're just like joking with them, kind of, you know, like a friendly family vibe, kind of just having fun, right? You
Yeah.
also see him at the bar, just having a nice time. Like they did seem like an actual like crew of people, even though we didn't have time to necessarily get to know them.
Mm-hmm.
But this was still a 2-hour movie, by the
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, it was still a 2-hour movie with a breakneck pace.
There was a lot going on with this movie.
The other thing too that I meant to mention was that like
Yeah.
there's the whole, like, of course, you know, there's good characters and then there's bad characters, right? And
Yeah.
there's like, obviously Red doesn't eat humans, maybe, but there are also creatures in this movie that do attempt to eat humans, for food source. So it's like, are they all sentient, or are they just, uh like the crab is just gonna, like, the crab rises out of the water and just tries to munch on Jacob, and obviously Red has to save him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always thought it was kind of weird. It's like, but I do like the aspect of, like, obviously, you have there's a lot of moral gray area
Yeah.
between
Well, they
everyone.
also did quite a bit of show and not tell, but between the interactions with Maisie and Red. Like, for example, when the boat's like getting like pulled under, right? And the captain's like, "Oh no, we can't cut it. We're gonna kill Red here and now," right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Red sees Maisie cut the line and knows, like, "Oh, you helped me," right?
Right, that was like the beginning of the trust.
Yeah. That's when she's like, "Wait a second, maybe they're not crazy," and then Red returns the favor and helps them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like, I don't know. It was an interesting movie. I almost feel like it could have been 2 movies. As odd as that
Yes.
sounds,
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
like I feel like it literally could have been like 2 movies with like one setting everything up and then another to finish everything off.
I think I mean, maybe the second one they could have done more with the Royal Army, and, like,
Yeah,
because
exactly.
other
They would have been able to expand.
yeah, like, other than, the one Royal Army guy being kind of a douche,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know.
we get Mr. Snooty, right? Like,
Yeah.
okay.
Um.
Basically, all we have is we have Jacob, Maisie, Sarah,
Mhm.
Captain Crow, and the Royals.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, at the end, like, it finds out, like, there's been this war between humans and monsters for years, and it was the Royals who started it. Why? I don't remember. I don't remember why they started the war.
They actually didn't mention it. However, throughout the movie,
Mhm.
they constantly mention how, like, oh, this will fetch a great price.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I think they were like hunting them for like their parts to sell.
To build armor
Maybe, I don't know.
and weapons.
Unlikely, but
Well, they're monster hunters.
it's true.
Um.
Sorta.
But yeah. Man, what do
My
you?
biggest gripe was how easily they just believed everything the girl said at the end.
Right, yeah, it was like a little girl just yelling, and they're like, "You shut up," and then she's like, I don't want to shut up," and then,
Yeah.
I don't know.
But granted, they did like, so like there's some like precedence for them actually listening because she did literally stop Red in its
Hmm.
tracks. So like,
I mean, I hear you, but
kind of gotta like weigh it, you know?
also, but you got to think, like, this trusted hunter that they've been working with for years. They were gonna put him in prison for yelling at them.
Yeah.
So like, why wouldn't they put the little girl in prison? Is she the little girl? I mean,
well, because little girl, basically tamed a sea beast, right?
Yeah.
Plus, little girl exposed like the issues with the royal family and how like maybe things weren't exactly exactly how the royals said because there's the scene where she's looking through all the books
Mhm.
and they all have the royal crest, meaning they were like
Yes.
written by the royals.
Yep.
And so it's like, oh, okay, so it's basically just brainwashing.
Yeah, it's propaganda.
Yeah, it's just propaganda, like to grow their kingdom, because they always talked about how like small the kingdom was at first, but
Mhm.
then they started hunting sea beasts and it kept growing and
Kept
growing
growing.
and growing.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe like honestly, I think maybe with a second watch of this movie, I think it would have done me better, to kind of piece more things together if I didn't have to watch it in parts.
Maybe, yeah.
You know,
There's a lot.
there was a lot. Yeah, I was looking at it and I was like, holy shit, this is 2 hours when I first started it. And
Yeah.
then I mean, and then I was like surprised how well they filled that time. But
I
yeah,
never actually felt really bored, so that was nice.
no, I don't think I felt bored either, and I did like the movie. But the thing is for me, I want to try to find something. I want to find something wrong with it. I don't want to just tell you everything that's good about a movie.
Sure.
And even if it's like my misunderstanding of it, which I mean, I would rather have you tell me like, oh no, that was like, this or this. Fine, that's cool. I want to hear about it. I typically, miss things, when I watch a movie for the first time anyway. It's like people who watch like all of the Avengers movies and then you realize how much fucking detail actually goes into them. Like, like the meme, like Tony's always learning. Like that's, that's an actual thing where do you know what I mean? Like if he makes a mistake in one movie, the next movie he has an answer for that mistake.
Generally.
Yeah, no, I mean, and I thought that was really cool. But yeah, it's like little things like that where maybe, if I watched it again, I could pick up a lot more details. Will I watch it again? Probably not.
That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of other things to review, and
yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
But
what would you rate the movie?
Oh, what would I rate this movie? I would give it a 7.
7?
Yeah, I'd give it a 7.
Hold on. I'm about a 7.5.
Dude,
I think the story is serviceable.
Mm-hmm.
The animation's actually really nice.
Yeah, that is true. The animation is really good.
The voice acting was really good. Overall, it was just like a solid flick. I would possibly watch it again, but I feel like I probably picked up on most things.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if I really missed anything, but there's always room to miss shit. So,
Yeah, I mean, I
it has things going for it, but it has things going against it. Flimsy plot. It's just How to Train Your Dragon.
Yes, yeah.
I love How to Train Your Dragon, so I probably have some bias, right? Like How to Train Your Dragon is one of my favorite animated movies.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
I just think that
probably working with some bias.
I do think that How You Train Your Dragon did it better.
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
And in 3 movies.
That's true. Yeah, and I definitely really enjoy. I like the movie, and yeah, man, we'll definitely have to freaking figure out what we're going to be reviewing next week too. And hopefully August will be there for that.
I don't regret choosing this movie to review. That's where I'm at.
I was really worried that I wasn't going to be able to watch the whole thing in time. I was super
Putting it
worried.
off, putting it off, putting it off.
Well, I mean, it's like if I'm not streaming or playing games, I'm editing or,
Yeah, understandable.
and I'm super behind on my editing. So,
Uh-oh.
yeah, and that's just like VODs. That's not even creating things. That's just straight up VODs.
Oh no.
It just
Too
takes
many VODs.
too many VODs. Yeah, it takes too long. I still have like DNF Duel that I haven't even touched. Um, but anyway, man, did you happen to take a look at the 50 greatest superheroes of all time? The superhero movies of all
Uh,
time?
yeah, no, I did. Um,
Let's see. Let me turn this guy
so
on.
this list was super weird. Like, I just don't know how you can put a movie like Wonder Woman above The Incredibles, for example.
I also think it's weird that you would start at 50.
Oh man, there's a lot, right? Like they could practically hit like most superhero movies made with 50, and they pretty much do, right? Like they hit a lot.
Yeah,
A lot.
I've never
And
seen
like,
some of these.
oh yeah, I've seen a majority of these. I have not seen the Zack Snyder Justice League,
Oh, I saw that.
but yeah,
Inframan?
I've seen Ghost Rider, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Inframan, I've seen Inframan actually.
first of all, the fact that Scott Pilgrim, Inframan, is it any good?
It's okay.
Is it like a shitty Ultraman?
Kind of. Yeah, kind of. It's very Ultraman-esque. I don't know if it's really a shitty Ultraman
Mm-hmm.
because like its effects are actually a little bit better than Ultraman,
Oh damn.
for example. And it tries to have more of a plot than Ultraman does. So like, yeah. But at the end of the day, it's kind of like knockoff Ultraman, but maybe done a little bit better than Ultraman. Controversial, I know.
Well, I mean, it's not hard to do things better than Ultraman. I'm so mixed on Ultraman, dude. I don't, dude. I have no. Every time Ultraman comes on Tokusatsu, I am
Yeah.
so thrown for a loop on what the fuck's going on, because there's like a legacy, like a lore that is like an undertone to the entire series. Some of it's like the main plot.
Yeah, no, all the Ultramen are from like a planet, and they're just literally like a species from that planet, and they come to defend Earth.
But they also look like humans, but then also they're like ultra. I don't understand how that works. They look
Well,
like
that's like their civilian form.
yeah, but there was like Ultraman Chronicles.
Their normal forms are like the kaiju-esque things.
Well, like I was saying in
Ultraman forms.
in Ultraman Chronicles, there was like two Ultramen that were talking to each other, but they looked like humans when they were having a conversation.
Yeah.
So if they only look like humans to be, and so like how does the whole shrinking and growing thing? I see what I'm saying. Like
it's like it's basically explained like as like a genetic kind of boost thing, you know, pseudoscience kind of bullshit.
Sure.
Yeah, it's anime logic.
Yeah. Speaking of anime logic, Scott Pilgrim is number 46, which is a goddamn shame.
Right? I love Scott Pilgrim. I could put Scott Pilgrim in top 10, honestly.
Yeah.
I've never seen Old Guard.
Yeah,
I've heard decent things about Old Guard, but I've never seen it. I should probably watch it at some point.
I wouldn't even really consider I don't really consider Scott Pilgrim a superhero movie.
I mean, it kind of has like superhero isms to it, right? But yeah, it's probably not really a superhero.
It's like it's kind of more of an anime movie, but a video game movie. But at the same time, it's like,
I mean, it's adapted from graphic novels.
Do you consider Goku a superhero? Maybe I don't really.
Goku being a hero is kind of a gray zone on its own, because the Goku we got isn't super accurate to like Toriyama's vision for Goku. Like the American version really like Supermanified him, right? Like, oh yeah, fighting for like justice and like, oh, I won't let you hurt these people. When in reality, Goku's just kind of a battle maniac in the beginning. He's just like, yeah, no, I want to fight. I love to fucking fight.
Yeah.
I will endanger others to see how strong you are.
and Super really enforces that with him, like, risking the fate of the entire universe for a tournament to see how strong the other people were.
Yeah. But they did kind of, I feel Toriyama kind of like, I guess he seemed like he liked the Americanization of Goku, because Goku in like Buu Saga / like Super has more of like that hero vibe, even like in the Japanese version. Like, he's still a battle maniac at his heart, but he also has a lot more like caring and like a sense of like, oh, I'm gonna defeat you to save everyone kind of thing going on still.
Well, yes, but also
it's still not to the extent of like the American version. Not even close.
Yeah, Goku is definitely not like intentionally a hero. It's not like it's not like, One Punch Man, where everyone's like a hero because they want to be a hero. Though I guess Saitama is also a parody of that, because he's like, I don't care. I don't, I don't. He almost doesn't really want to be a hero. He's just like a normal guy who just happens to be super powered.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like a parody. And so Scott Pilgrim is below Batman the movie from 1996.
Yep, that's a weird one.
That's I mean, I get it.
If the old Batman has like this corny, stupid charm to it, I literally cannot deny that.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'd put it in like top 50 superhero movies.
Yeah, I mean, you would think that we came a long way, but that's got to be like a legacy homage.
Yeah.
I mean, Thor, I feel like that's fair. Lego Batman does not deserve to be that low.
Lego Batman was great.
It's number 42. We have the Avengers, which is at 41. You're fucking crazy. You're fucking crazy if you think it should be at 41.
I don't really know where the Avengers belongs. Like,
it's near top 10.
After you get past the initial high of, oh my god, they're all together, they're all doing this cool shit.
Yeah.
The story is pretty floppy.
I think I'm coming.
It also started the trend of the portal,
the sky portal
in the sky, and ruining everything for the final act. Like, like, Avengers isn't a bad movie. It's just, after the initial spectacle wears off, like, when I first watched it, I was like, oh my god, this movie is fucking amazing. And then, I like rewatched it a few years later, and I was like, well, it is good, but it has like so many issues also.
I think
so
it's an odd one. For what it did for like historically, for bringing all those superheroes together successfully for a first movie is super impressive, and it was the first movie to ever do that. And I think for that reason, it deserves to be higher, for like solidifying the MCU for what it is. Because if they didn't pull off the Avengers, there wouldn't be, a phase 2 or whatever it may be. So
sure. If that didn't work out, yeah, no, they would have been sunk.
Oh.
I think the superhero genre in general would have been sunk if Avengers didn't do well.
Speaking of which, The Dark Knight Rises is above that by one. I don't know if I agree. You're trying to say that Dark Knight Rises is a better movie than Avengers? What do you think of that? Do you agree?
Well, so my issue with the Dark Knight Rises is the guy that Batman fights, that isn't Bane.
Right.
I don't know who that is, but it's not Bane. And so I never really got past that because I was just like, I just feel robbed. Like, this is not Bane. This is some other character. But the it's good. I definitely don't think it's better than Avengers. Like,
yeah.
That's just how it is.
Speaking of which, they're saying that the first Captain America is better than The Dark Knight Rises, which I'm sorry, I love Captain America, but man, the first Captain America is kind of booty.
It's not the best, that's for sure. I'm kind of surprised to see it in the top 50. It's a movie with a lot of problems. Pacing issues, character issues.
Yeah.
The effects, were rough.
Yeah, especially on like young Steve with his weird ass head.
Yeah. It was an odd movie. And I don't know. I don't think it even belongs in the top 50.
What do you think of Ant-Man? Do you like Ant-Man?
Ant-Man's okay.
Okay. Well,
I could actually probably put Ant-Man in the top 50. I don't necessarily agree with 35. That seems high. Like,
does anyone consider Unbreakable to be like an actual superhero movie? Because I don't. I know it. I know.
Yeah, no, he's a superhero.
Man.
I'd say he's a superhero. Yeah. I mean, like, if the Suicide Squad can be superheroes.
I'll tell you what, if Blade is not in the top 10, I'm going to be pissed. Hold on.
Well,
let's take a look here. Darkman. What? Darkman is at 26? Darkman. Okay, so
I like Darkman.
No, don't get me wrong. Darkman is cool for what it is. But no, I'm sorry.
I think it's criminal that Hellboy's at 27. Yeah, I think that shit's like top 20 material.
The Guillermo del Toro Hellboy movies are great.
The good ones. Yeah, not that reboot. Ugh.
Oh, you're telling me The Rocketeer is at 25?
Yeah, dude. Batman Returns at 24.
This is such a weird
Deadpool
list.
At 23.
This is such a weird list.
RoboCop at 22. I don't know what RoboCop's doing on here. He's not a superhero.
Is he a super? He's not. I mean,
he's not a superhero.
Hold on.
He's a hero, sure, but what's super about him?
Batman: Mask of the Phantasm. I don't know. That's an animated movie. That shouldn't count.
I think Mask of the Phantasm is one of the best Batman flicks. I would put that in my top 10.
Yeah.
Maybe even my top 5. Like, Mask of the Phantasm is so incredibly well put together. The animation still holds up. The story is still great. Like, I could talk for hours about Mask of the Phantasm.
Let's hit up the top 10 here, and then we can move on. So number 10, they have The Incredibles.
Man, Incredibles is like in my top 3. I don't know. I don't know about that one.
Number 9 is Wonder Woman.
Yep, that should be way lower. I don't know.
Number 8 is.
I feel like Wonder Woman rode on the oh my god, it's female superhero.
Wonder Woman for the first 2 acts is great. and then the third act, it just like you get
also little itty bitty pieces with some really, really bad CGI
and a shitty villain.
Yeah.
Ares, who just like he's a guy that
appears out of nowhere.
He just fucking shows up. And he's like, here's our villain. And then above that, at number 8, it's Thor Ragnarok. 7 is The Dark Knight.
That was a really good movie.
Yeah,
I really liked what they did with Thor Ragnarok. It kind of like breathed more life into like the Thor movies in general, especially after the huge flop of Dark World.
Yeah. No, Thor Ragnarok is great, but I don't.
Thor's comfy zone is definitely in comedy.
Yes, for sure. Then The Dark Knight is number 7. I do think that should be in the top.
That one's really good.
Top 10. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Okay. All right, that number
Spider-Verse
6
is really, really good.
Yep,
yeah.
I'm cool with that.
Superman number 5. Superman was honestly like a technical marvel for the time. That movie, like the flying scenes, insane, absolutely insane. It kind of like captured the perfect Superman, in my opinion, that we haven't had since.
You know,
and boy, they've been trying. Trying a lot.
Say what you want. I actually like Brandon Routh's Superman. I liked that. Fair. I liked that movie. I think he deserved to be in the sequel. I think that movie needed a sequel. I don't know if it really needed to be a sequel to Christopher Reeve's, Superman movies. I don't think it needed to be. I think it could have been its own thing.
Well, the Christopher Reeve movies went horrifically downhill because they got cheap as hell.
Yeah.
Like, we don't even have to put in effort. People just come watch it. We just ride on these laurels forever.
Yep.
Like, no, please.
So here's the thing. I like Henry Cavill. And I
don't.
Okay. I don't really care for his version of Superman. It's actually, Man of Steel is not a bad movie. It's not. It's okay. It's okay.
I disagree so hard.
It's a little boring.
I think it's so dumb.
I think Batman versus Superman is a fucking stupid movie.
Oh, that's a shit ass movie. Yeah, whatever.
It's so bad.
You're comparing garbage movie to garbage movie in my eyes.
I'm not gonna lie.
If you want good Superman movies, you just watch the animated Superman movies.
Oh yeah, like All-Star Superman.
Good Superman movies. Yeah, All-Star Superman, freaking Doomsday, all those shits.
Look,
good.
That the 90s animated Superman, that's my Superman. Okay.
That's a good one, yeah.
Okay. That's I mean, in my personal opinion, when I think of Superman, I think of him. Like Justice League, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
Why
would they do that?
Look,
well, I don't know.
But you know what? Okay, so I went through a kick of I think we reviewed this Zack Snyder's Justice League at some point. I don't remember when, but I remember reviewing it with August, for the podcast, I think. And and so I went through and I watched all the DCEU movies. I watched all of them.
Oh, I'm sorry. And that's a rough watch.
It is a mixed bag. But you know what? Ultimately, those movies get a bad rap. This is my opinion. Those movies get a bad rap. I think they're perfectly okay movies. And I think I've seen way worse movies in my lifetime. I think there's some stupid ideas that they had. I don't know why you needed Batman versus Superman to be as fucking gritty. Let's make Batman gritty. Dude, Batman's been gritty for the past 20 years. I'm sorry. I don't think anybody wants to see. I don't want to see that anymore, dude. I
don't mind seeing gritty Batman, but there's only so. I feel like once you get to a certain point of gritty, it just becomes comical.
Yeah, like Batman's does he bleed?
And Batfleck, hits that mark of
Yes.
what? What?
So here's the thing about Batfleck is that in my opinion, Ben Affleck made a great Bruce Wayne, but a terrible Batman.
That's fair. He does have like Bruce Wayne's charm, but
He
he's just not Batman.
Yes, exactly. Especially when you have Batman like taking away like semi-automatic weapons and shooting people and then killing people, you know, hitting them with a car, and because Batman doesn't kill people. I mean, Batman has used guns before and killed people, but it's
Only
really
in dire straits.
yeah, but it's not really his thing. But like this Batman, like very much willingly jumped in and just started murking kids.
Yeah.
You know,
He's closer to like a Flashpoint Batman.
yes,
It's
yeah.
kind of crazy.
Yeah. And I don't know. I'm not necessarily feeling it, but I feel like okay, so by the end of the Justice League, I was interested to see what they were gonna do with the next movie. Only because I think they had a rough idea of where they were going with it, and they could like get out of like the origin story takeoff of, you know, a lot of the characters. Aquaman's great. Shazam's pretty good movie. I don't think it's as good as people say it is, though. I think it's pretty mediocre.
I like Shazam because they took a lighter approach, and I really feel like that helps the DC movies
because they take themselves so fucking seriously.
It's so freaking backwards right now. Like, you think back to like the old DC, and you're like, oh yeah, everything was like bright and like funny and like, but still had some like action and stuff. And then you think about the old like Marvel, and it's like, oh yeah, no, those were like super grim and dark, and they just did a complete flip.
Mm-hmm.
And it's only hurt DC in the long run with this flip. They never really needed to make all of their stuff so dark, so gritty.
What was it?
Just doesn't suit DC.
I heard somebody say like the DCEU is gonna show up like 10 years too late to like once they get good, you know, they're gonna show up 10 years too late to what Marvel had already done.
I mean, that's fair.
Avengers,
I mean, they already tried to speedrun it, right? Like,
pretty much.
Like, oh shit, Marvel set this up in like 8 movies. What if we just do it in 3? Is that good? We can do this, right?
Yeah, and the answer is no. No, you can't.
No, it just doesn't work.
What
MCU is very painstakingly set up.
Yeah, to like a T to where directors hate working with Marvel.
Yeah.
Avengers Endgame number 4.
Yeah, Endgame's wild.
I think Endgame should be number 1.
I don't know if I'd put it number 1. I
think it's number 1. For me, it's my number 1. I think it's my number 1.
I might have put like Into the Spider-Verse as number 1.
That's a good choice. Logan, I think Logan is overrated.
I think Logan's really, really good, but it was also a little
up its own ass.
Boring.
Yeah, like once he got to the farm, like once he got to the fucking farm, like, you know, I think
like I would have like it's nice that it's more of like a character piece, but I'd also like to see more of, you know, like Logan being Logan.
Remember what?
That's just me, I guess. I don't know.
I don't like the way, like, because this was during the time when they had the other universe of X-Men going at the same time, where it's like, oh, what happened to the other X-Men? Oh, Xavier just, you know, killed them because he's senile, and it's like, I don't like that.
The Logan, like, you know, it takes place basically in an alternate timeline. Right, so
well, no, it's
whatever.
It should be like the X1 X2 Logan, right? It's that Logan.
Is it?
Yeah, it's that.
I don't think it is.
I think it is.
I don't know. I know it's like set pretty far into the future.
Well, yeah, it goes into the future, but I mean,
yeah, it follows a classic comic story, which is the death of Wolverine, and then takes its own like little liberties.
yeah, I think that this movie, I think Logan
That
is
comic's way better than this movie, though.
I think that Logan is like up its own ass, and it thinks like, yeah, the character dying is important, but
Yep.
I don't think that Wolverine should be in a as dramatic as it is. Like, it takes itself far too seriously.
Yeah.
And to the point where, like, yeah, he hits the farm, and then things get really like really slow, and the movie is very depressing, and I don't even care about any of the other mutant kids that just get to survive, and they leave him in like a rubble, which personally, the amount of damage that he was taking, I don't think should have killed. I don't know. I don't think should have killed him. But obviously they also like they brought in the clone of Wolverine, which I thought was fucking dumb. It's like, why do you have to? What is this?
Everyone loves clones.
What does this have to do? What does this have to do with the story? Like, why is it that you have to clone him? I don't know what the point of this is. Couldn't they just bring in like a better character to fight? What if they brought in like Sabretooth or like Omega Red or something like that? That would have been dope. I don't know.
Silver Samurai.
Silver Samurai again. Spider-Man 2 is number 2. I don't know. I think it's a good movie, but I don't think it needs to be number 2.
I'd say it's probably in top 10 territory. Asterisk.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Like, it was really good for the time, but it hasn't aged incredibly well.
No, neither has the first movie.
Yeah.
Or I mean, the third one particularly. Yeah.
Yeah, if you take it like as like the initial movie, it would probably be like, like top 10. But if you allow for like the advancements in like the storytelling that we've gotten and the character developments and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Spider-Man, like Homecoming, for example, beats Spider-Man 2. I feel like No Way Home beats Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I agree. I mean,
Far From Home,
it's a lot of nostalgia
I'm
factor.
kind of torn on Far From Home. Far From Home it was good, but not like amazing. I don't know. But yeah, that's a whole different can of worms. Number 1, right?
Black
Number
Panther.
1?
I don't think it. I don't
What?
think. So
I don't.
I think Black Panther is a good movie, but I don't think it deserves to be number 1. I think that Black Panther is. Yeah, I think it's a good. I think it's like definitely top 15, but I don't think it's. I don't think it's number 1.
So what it represents is fantastic,
Yeah, absolutely.
right? But I feel like it rides on that a bit too much. It's similar to Wonder Woman in that vein for me. Like, it's great. These are awesome like advancements in like films and comics and such, right? Like, people
Mhm.
are getting all the representation. It's fucking awesome. But the movies are just riding on that too hard. Like, the story of Black Panther isn't super like in depth or amazing.
It's just it's an origin story. It's
Yeah, it's a really basic origin story with many like lulls. And do we even talk about that final fight? Because that shit was a joke. They brought like an intern in to do the special effects for that final fight.
like, really?
Ugh.
Or are you kidding?
No, I'm kidding, right? But it
Right.
looks like it, right?
Yes, it
It's
does.
so rough.
Um,
It's jarring actually compared to like the rest of the CGI and effects in the movie. And then you get to that final fight and it's mostly CGI and you're like, wow, this is this is gross. It's not like, like Origins Wolverine Claws gross, but it's up there. It's real bad.
Can we also point out that Blade 2 is in here over Blade 1?
Yeah.
I think Blade 1 is a better movie, and I think it deserves to be higher up on this list.
Well, I mean, like,
bro,
let me...
I would be shocked, and I mean shocked, if this next if the Blade, the new Blade movie could top like the old Blade movies. Yeah. Like Blade 1 at least.
Man, we got crazy shit like Spider-Man above Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't shit don't make sense.
Yeah, but either way, you know, I think this is an interesting list. I don't think that
it's solid.
Like I think honestly this
what would be your top 5? Just for like argument's sake.
I think
put you on the spot.
I think Endgame is Endgame's number 1. Just because of like everything that it did, and I don't think there's ever going to be a movie with like that completes a story as well as it does. I think it's like hard to remember all the superhero movies. I don't know. I think Days of Future Past should be up there. I'm just gonna pick the first things that come to my mind, because I feel bad about this. I'm gonna put Blade 1 in there. Days of Future Past, Blade 1. We got Endgame. I need 2 more. I think Captain America Winter Soldier should be in there. And then let's see. And then, you know what? For the hell of it, because I need a Batman movie, you have to have a Batman movie. The Dark Knight. I do, even though I think that movie is pretty overrated.
One movie I feel is criminal that didn't make the list is Batman Beyond Revenge of the Joker, or Return of the Joker, I mean.
I think that movie's great.
I feel like that's top 50 material. If we got stuff like Ghost Rider, hello?
Look, I think, honestly, I think that there's a lot of animated movies that should be on this list.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no, it's missing.
If that's the case.
Yeah. Like the Suicide Squad animated movie.
Yeah. All right, let's move over to, I'm gonna cut out the Aquaman thing. It's pretty much just saying that Ben Batfleck's gonna be in Aquaman 2. No big deal. Ben Batfleck, yeah.
Yeah.
So I know you saw this, but fixating on player count and dead games is making games worse. I didn't actually have time to take a look at this. I don't know if you did.
Oh no, I did. This is one of the articles that I wanted to cover. And you're like, hey, give me articles, and I was like, oh, this one. But so I'm definitely like painfully guilty of this. So it was really interesting to
you're the numbers
read this
man
article. Yeah, I am. Well, okay, so like it's a really vicious cycle, right? Because people don't want to buy a game that's floundering, but a game that's floundering can't, get better and stop floundering without more people buying it and playing it. So it's like it's a big problem. So maybe we shouldn't see player counts.
Are we saying that people passing on rumors that a game sucks is making the games worse overall? Like, as in, like, word of mouth?
Part of it, yeah. But also being able to just access things like Steam charts, right? Like, that's, like, my favorite thing to do. Like, I'm like, DNF Duel's down to 500 players.
Wait, seriously?
Here comes Discord Fighter. Yeah, it is.
Holy shit.
So, like, that makes me not want to invest time or money into DNF Duel because I see the downward spiral, right?
Mm-hmm.
And other people apparently, you know, share my sentiment, since this is becoming a legitimate problem.
Right. Yeah, man, I kind of
When back
agree.
in the day we would have like 1,000 players on something, we wouldn't even know there's like 1,000 players. Like back in the day, I used to play Star Siege, which was an offshoot of Earth Siege, which was like an offshoot of like Mech Warrior.
Mm-hmm.
And there was probably only like 500 people playing it, maybe on like the high end. And I still consistently had fun and like, you know, found games that were full. So I think the abundance of information has just hurt us overall, because we didn't used to have these numbers. Like we didn't used to know these things, right? We would just try a game because your friend was like, "Oh, dude, this game seems pretty fun," right?
I agree, and I also think that there's like the influencer effect of like maybe you have someone like Maximilian saying, "Well, this game sucks," and then there's like 100 people right there that whatever are gonna hear that and be like, "All right, well, this game sucks," and then it becomes law because they have like
Yeah.
word.
Well, Max doesn't really say that though, because Max understands the position that he's in, right?
Right.
He'll be like, I mean, it has its issues, but
There,
blah
there,
blah 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 blah, right?
but there are
Yes.
other people that will say that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like other content creators, I won't name names, but other content creators will straight up say this game sucks, and then it happens to keep going down and down, down and down until you have like, we have an issue with like Melty Blood right now. Melty Blood has like, I don't know, 20 concurrent players or something like that last I looked.
Well, on Steam, yeah.
Yeah.
You have to think
that's rough.
Probably most of the player base is on console.
Probably.
Yeah, I mean like
But
PS4,
it's still
PS5.
released to like a resounding meh, with content creators kind of like lambasting it a bit. And I think that hurt it a lot. So
Yeah,
maybe we shouldn't have all this info. It seems to be hurting, but at the same time, I'm such an info whore. I love to like look up the stats on everything and use that to help inform. So this article felt like tailor-made for me.
Yeah, I think
it was like, hey, Quintessence, stop looking at the numbers, god damn it.
I think at the end of the day, if you like a game, go find a Discord, play the game. Doesn't matter what other people think. Even if you get your ass whooped real hard at the game, but whatever. Hey, why don't we? If we can take a quick break here, I can use the restroom, and then we can come back and finish up the.
Well, we only got like 10 minutes of stuff left if you can hold it.
I have been holding it for like a while.
Okay, all right.
All right, I will be right back.
Good. We got like 2 things to cover.
All right, so
yeah, no, 2 things.
Fixating on dead games, that's good.
MultiVersus.
So it finds out people fucking really like MultiVersus.
Yeah, right. So it turns out that when you combine the holy trinity of cross-platform, free-to-play, and rollback netcode under a decent like IP, the people will come. The people will play.
It's true.
And MultiVersus has really shown that, eclipsing every single other fighting game on PC, like combined.
Yeah. And just God
crazy.
damn.
It's absolutely ludicrous.
30-day average.
This thing's gonna be a beast.
Okay, so as someone who's played the game, I don't see what's so special about it, but I can see why someone would want to play a free-to-play Smash game. Yeah. If you don't have a Switch, you need to play a game.
Or if you just want decent netcode and a platform fighter.
Yeah, absolutely.
The netcode's not the best. It's definitely still got issues, but I think the framework is there for actually a really fun game with access to a huge amount of IPs. Huge. Like,
Yes.
we could have Courage the Cowardly Dog fighting, freaking Ed and Eddie.
I would love that.
Or like Gandalf squaring off against Godzilla, like we got some stuff going on.
Yeah, man. I'm excited because I think this is obviously going to be the first example of everyone saying free to play is the future. And it truly is.
Yes.
Especially with like the League of Legends, game coming out soon. I think that this is just the first example, and I think the fact that if Street Fighter 6 doesn't come out as free to play, I think they're crazy.
I don't think it's gonna be free to play.
I mean,
personally,
I don't think it is either because I think they would have said something by now. But I think that any fighting game that wants to be the thing should be free to play. And obviously, Virtua Fighter 5 Final Showdown had the same effect of, hey, it's a free game, why don't you play it? And then, the possibility of that coming out is still a thing. And I was actually listening to it's not really too relevant here, and I don't know why, but I'm bringing it up. But Phil, of course, when the last time he was on the podcast, he does not think that there's going to be a Virtua Fighter 6. I, on the other hand, 100% believe that there's going to be one.
I think it's a coin flip, but
I think there's going to be one, and I think the fact that it had so many downloads for being a free game, I think it's a slam dunk.
That's fair.
What do you think, man? I think also the fact of letting people unlock characters through playing the game is also fantastic for people who can't afford it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I played a bit of MultiVersus. It seems fine. If they keep on top of it, I think it could really like do some good ass numbers and get more people to play, right?
Yeah.
Because like, who knows how many actual players we have? Because this is just like on Steam, right? Like, MultiVersus is eclipsing everything just on Steam, not even accounting for, PlayStation or whatever, right? So as long as they keep pushing stuff out and they stay with a proper free to play model, I think it's gonna grow. I think it definitely has potential.
I think the ability to play a Smash like game for free is
fantastic.
It's a slam dunk. Yeah. But yeah, man.
Recognizable IPs, Smash like game. It's just like a really good recipe. And I wish Nickelodeon All Stars Brawl had tried to do something like this.
The same foresight.
Whatever.
Rest in peace.
But at least MultiVersus got to watch Nickelodeon All Star Brawl falter and be like, oh, hey, we can like take some knowledge from this failure and do stuff.
Yeah, you mean Nickelodeon as a whole watched that game that happen, and not the team themselves, because they try to make something, a quality product, but it was really Nickelodeon not funding it.
They just weren't allowed the budget. They weren't like they finally got like some voice acting. Took forever, but they finally got some voice acting.
Too little, too late, man.
It was already too late. Yeah, no, the game has like 25 players right now on Steam.
Absolutely. Yeah.
30-day average. Like, it's rough.
Man, they're all cousins. But yeah, man, I think this is gonna be great. I think it's gonna be the first the future, and I hope other Japanese fighting game organizations, or companies follow suit. Please.
Yes.
Follow
if we can
suit.
get the Japanese fighting devs on board, everyone will get on board, I feel.
Yep. I mean, Virtua Fighter did it, Sega did it. You guys can do it too. I want to see a free-to-play version of Street Fighter 6. I think that's going to get people into the game.
Maybe it could be amazing.
It could be amazing.
Because I mean, like, okay, so like Street Fighter 5 did a brilliant thing where you could literally like save up coins and buy the DLC characters.
It would take fucking forever, but yeah.
You didn't have to buy. Yeah, but if you were like actively playing, you would have had enough.
Yep, that's true.
Like, and that was a really good move. So, I mean, the next logical step would be the free-to-play model for Street Fighter 6 after they probably saw how successful the Street Fighter 5 DLC option was.
By the way, I need a teammate to do a double LeBron, some double LeBron gameplay. So I know you're in. So
I don't even have LeBron, dude.
We'll get him. We'll get LeBron.
We'll get him. But I was gonna unlock Batman next.
No, I'm sorry, LeBron. Anywho, Indonesia's had it rough. In fact, it's this week's L of the week.
Oh, Indonesia, why?
So, Steam, Epic, and other websites are now banned in Indonesia. Indonesians woke up to shock as various websites and other gaming platforms such as Steam, Epic Games have banned in Indonesia. According to the tweet made by Team Secret esports organizations, as well as reported by our sister site, Gamer WK, users in Indonesia have been denied access to said game platforms, but users have found alternatives to bypass this by changing their DNS or by using a VPN.
Classics.
Quintessence.
But I can't even imagine just waking up and having my whole Steam library gone. Like you try to log in and it's like, sorry, this is banned in your country. Like, wait, what? I've spent so much money here, though. Please?
Yeah.
It's such a shitty move. And it wasn't just like game platforms. It was also like PayPal.
Oh, wow.
And yeah. So like it's rough.
Yeah, did they
like
say
losing PayPal and
did they
say why?
They say why they wound up banning it or
yeah, so it was apparently because the companies failed to register with Cominfo. Cominfo. And so in theory, maybe if they have a way to like retroactively register, then they could get these systems back online. Because right now we don't know for sure if it's a permanent like revoke or if it's a temporary thing. Because this happened fairly recently.
So Cominfo is the ministry. This happened
literally like a couple days ago.
Cominfo is the Ministry of Communication and Information Technology, is a ministry of a government of Indonesia that's responsible for communication, information affairs, and internet censorship. So this is basically what would happen if, you know, America got their interwebs freaking
basically
censored. Which means basically this is their way of saying, yo, Steam, pay us money or we're not going to let other people use your application. So
yeah, I mean, they're probably going to expect a cut.
Yeah, for sure.
Or to clean certain things off of there in order to get it approved. Like, yeah, I don't know. I'm both interested and like appalled. It seems like such a horrible move that maybe they should have like delayed this kind of stuff instead of just going all, you know, scorched earth.
Yeah, I mean,
but what the hell do I know? I'm just an American bystander, you know.
Well, you know, at least look at it this way. Think of the amount of times that politicians have tried to censor the internet and basically it would make a packaged deal, like something like this, where you would only like you'd get Google or you'd get YouTube, and you'd have to, it would become like cable companies.
Cable packages,
Yep.
yeah.
And so basically,
oh, you want the Reddit pack? That'll be an extra $20 a month.
Yeah. So essentially it just becomes like, a way of people trying to make money off of what you can and cannot have through the internet. Oh, you want Pornhub? That's $100. Sorry, man.
I don't need it that bad. I'm not that down bad.
We're not that down bad for the Pornhub. I'll stick to my own fan fiction, thank you.
Right?
Yo, Quintessence, where can people find you, man?
Well, now that I'm back from the dead, I stream fairly regularly at twitch.tv/quintessencehd. I'm a variety streamer, but I stream mostly fighting games and or action RPGs such as Path of Exile.
You can find the backlog on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. We are on TikTok. We have a Discord where we watch Kamen Rider Club every Monday, which we should be actually finishing goddamn Kamen Rider build tomorrow. Won't we? We're gonna be doing that. All right, yeah.
We are going to be watching Kamen Rider build New World, Cross Z, and Grease to finish out the entire build universe.
Speaking of which,
Kamen Rider.
I don't know if Chewy's gonna be there tomorrow. Because
damn it.
I think he said he was moving, but I mean, I don't know. We could try. Still, either way, I really do want to watch it tomorrow if that's cool with you. But we'll figure that out.
We'll see how it goes tomorrow, I guess. Yeah. Hopefully Chewy can be there, but it happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wish we can get more people to the Kamen Rider Club in general.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if you should totally advertise it on Reddit or other places. I mean, but hey, that's
I'm gonna look into that. I'm also possibly thinking about trying to just stream it on my Twitch channel so that the quality is better, because Discord kind of ruins my shit.
Well, we can do the other thing too, is that we can do less watches of Kamen Rider through Discord, and that would be a good way to have other people come through. But that's something we can talk about in the future. You can find if you guys are watching this on YouTube or wherever, you can find the Backlog Podcast on anywhere you get podcasts. This has been the Backlog Podcast number 26. We'll be back next week, hopefully with August. And other than that, guys, I will see you soon. Peace out, y'all.
Later.